Hello, my name is Darren Hodgkinson. I'm going to show you now how to put up a shelter, probably a working shelter, for my forest schools level 3 training. Okay, so I'm just going to go through it just as I'd explain it to somebody else, having just explained it to somebody else. So first thing you do is you tie a timber hitch to the tree. So timber hitch knot, you tie around, make a hole through, and then in that loop that you've just created, I might have to a little bit, there we go, you wind the rope around about 3 or 4 times, okay, and what you'll find is you can put that up anywhere on the tree, and you can tighten that up, and it'll stay there. Okay, so on the second side, what I can now do is I can make a tension knot, and I can make sure that this is relatively taut. So, get my rope, hold on to this just here, because you can't do a clove hitch because you need to have the tension in there, so I need to be pulling as hard as I can. You wouldn't be able to do that if you're doing it with a clove hitch. And what you can see there is, this is not exactly what you want because somehow I've got tangled, and if that happens you just need to start again. It's not always important not to panic in these situations. It's just with using a long rope, it's easy to get tangled. Wow, I've not got a clue what I'm doing here. Right, so we'll start again. It's just a really long rope. So I want to get my rope quite high. So you need to make sure I've got maximum tension. So you can see that rope just here. I put my finger on this one just here to ensure that I've got that tension. And then a little bit like a clove hitch, I'll bring this round, keep my finger on for the time being. Oops. Doesn't help that this is so long, this rope, but I've cut it down to size in a normal situation. And then here it should be relatively loose, so I should be able to pass my rope relatively easy through on the second one. It'll take about 10 years for this to happen. And if you can see that, I've managed to maintain my tension on the rope. Okay, so that isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So the next thing to do, push it across, and already we can see we've got a shelter. This could be used for working in, doing stuff like that, particularly on rainy days. And the best thing to do usually is, look, you can use pegs and things like that. But if you haven't got pegs, just use what you've got around you. So again, we'll just be tying these to trees nearby, using tension knots. Just before I go any further, I've just got to mention that before you make a shelter, just make sure that there's no things like burrows or animals or anything like that underneath first. I did that beforehand, moved a few twigs out of the way. So, you know, preparing your shelter is really important. So what I'm going to do is just make 4 tension hooks now. I've already put this on this side, the red rope through these just here. Been quite fortunate with this tarpaulin because we've got eyelets. Most tarpaulins do though, to be perfectly honest with you, just they're done in different ways. So what you do again is, it's quite difficult to me to get tension in the first one. So what you want to do is sort of have a relatively strong knot. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just do just a normal clove hitch. So just going to do a normal clove hitch here, and then on the other side I'll use the tension knot because that's where I want my tension to be maintained. You could use a timber hitch there as well. Yeah, timber hitch is fine. Just depends if you want to change your pulley and things like that. So on this one, I'm going to try and make sure I've got that tension there. You can see that the clove hitch is holding relatively well. So I keep knifing on this just here because I want to keep that tension. And again, the relatively long rope isn't really doing me any favours. But I want to keep that tension there. Not just this one, but there should be a little bit of a wiggle room here. So I should be able to pass my rope through there relatively easily. And also the sort of sap from the tree should help keep this in place too. So yeah, there you go. You can see here there's quite a lot of sort of loose finger trapped in there. Always a good idea not to do that. And you can see I've got my tension there. It's quite a lot of tension. So already I've got two sides done. And what you can do is you can pass another rope through here, and that will just make it even better in terms of its sort of structure. You can see that the rope's riding up a little bit on this side and this side as well. So you can pass another rope through there. We're not going to do that for the time being, mainly because my hand's covered in sap. So for the last one, I'm going to first of all do a clove hitch attached to this implement that I found, just because I haven't got any peg that I made earlier with me. So again, clove hitch, relatively easy. You just pass it through. Make an X, and then you'll put your line through in the middle, okay? And that should give us a clove hitch just there, okay? So I'll place this down, just because we didn't have a conveniently placed tree either, but that should hold relatively firm, I hope. Probably not the best. So I'll do that again. It's just a bit difficult because of the way the shape it was. So go underneath, over, and then you come back through to the second one. You want this to be a little bit closer together, and then I'll put this down, and that should hold very, very firm now. So last thing to do is thread this through. Really, we want to be creating 45-degree angles like this one just here on both sides, because that will give us shelter, the most structural integrity. This is sort of the higher one to be used to working in, things like that. I've done that sort of pretty much an outstretched arm as much as I could do. And then to finish with, because I've already got my other area done, I'm just going to do another tension knot. I need to do a tension knot because obviously it's the first one, it's the second one I'm doing, and I want to maintain the tension within my rope. So again, I go round once, keep hold of it. The second time, it should have a little bit of give. Just go straight underneath. Maybe this could be a bit tighter actually. Let's do that. Again. There we go. That is how you make a tarpaulin for working in. And what you can do, because of the way that I've done the knots, you can also sort of lower this depending on what you need it. So quite a low one would be for things like your kit or whatever.